The Sales Console Sidebar is a custom Visualforce page that's been made to be incredibly configurable for every sales engineer inside the organisation. One of the problems with the console is that quite often when you want to do things on the side here like this, you need sort of Visualforce capability to do that. So what I've tried to achieve here is a completely configurable Visualforce page, and we've been able to do this by using a combination of custom settings and field sets. You can see here on the United Partners record here that I'm looking at the cases and contacts that are related to this particular account. One of the neat things about this particular implementation is that I can launch straight into these objects here, again into tabs, just by clicking on the links that are highlighted there. Now that's really interesting for contacts and cases, but what about other objects? Well, the good thing about the sidebar console component is that it's completely configurable, and by completely configurable we can also add any record that's related to the account here just by some configuration. So let's go and have a quick look at how we do that. As I was mentioned, there's two things that are part of this. The first thing is this idea of a field set. Now if you don't know what a field set is just a really simple, a field set's a really neat part of Salesforce that allows you to define a couple of different fields. So you can see that I've named this particular one sidebar, and at the moment I have my case number and my case description there. If I wanted to add a priority into this, I can look for priority and drag that down into my field set. And again, the other neat thing here is that this also influences the order of how my case is displayed. So again, if I want to change the order of the columns, I just come in here and change the order of that field set. The second thing I've done to make it configurable is use a custom setting. So if I come down and have a look at a custom setting, and again in Salesforce a custom setting, you can think of it like a properties file. It's a way to configure things within the system. In itself, it's kind of just a custom object, and it's just a special type of custom object. And you can see I've created a Sales Console Sidebar, and once you install the package, the Sales Console Sidebar package, this custom setting will be available for you. And it's got a couple of fields on it. It says I need the display order, so we'll talk about that in a sec. What's my field set name? Okay, so that name of the sidebar that we just put in. What's the name of the object? This is the API name of the object that we actually want to display in here, and the parent object as well. So in this case, the parent would be the account. Then if I manage these, this is how I create different instances, and you'll actually see that I've got two here. I've got my case, I've got my contact sidebar. They're both related to the account through the account ID. It's displayed here as 1 and 2, so this means the case one will appear on the top. And as you can see, it doesn't really matter what the field set name you create is. You can come in here and configure that yourself. So if I come back to my Sales Console now and reload that account, remember we changed that field set there, and you can see that my cases have now changed. Now this is worthwhile remembering you can do this. There's no protection for you to protect the UI here, so make sure that you select the right fields. And as you'll see here, that the furthermost left-hand side article, or the top of your field set that you put in here, will always be the one that's the hyperlink, and this just simply is just going to open the case, and you'll see that this particular object, it picks up its name from this value as well. So here's my package URL, and this is something that we distributed as part of the demo component. Let's log into a brand new org here and see what happens. So of course, we just log into the org, and like all demo components, we should be able to install it straight through a private app exchange listing. So here you can see a different console. And again, this is actually a Service Cloud console. So let's come in. Doesn't really matter for this particular one, but we find this one's been built for the Sales Console. So the first thing I want to do is install my demo component. So I can just log in, install that package there, and it will take me and install a few different things. There's the custom setting, there's the Visualforce page, and a couple of Apex controllers to handle this as well. So here we go. These are what we're going to install. We're going to install the Visualforce page, the object as the custom setting, some Apex classes and some custom fields on that custom setting. Of course, we want to continue. We want to make this available for everyone as well. And so now I'm processing that. While we're waiting for that to complete, let's start setting up some field sets. So this particular org, we haven't done it, but I don't want to show cases or contacts. I'd actually like to look at a custom object this time. So let's go and have a look at what custom objects I might want to display here. So if I go over into my custom objects list, I'm thinking about a sales order is one of the things we'd like to display on the console this time. So again, if we come down here and we find our order, our sales order object. Now this is not the newly released orders object. This is obviously a custom object here. And you can see my API name there, which I'm going to copy because we'll need that in a second. And down here I see where I create my field set. So let's create a new field set first. So again, the field set I'm going to create is again sidebar. You can use this wherever you'd want. You can name this however you'd like. It's just a component in the sales console. And it's going to take me to the field set page layout editor where I just set those field sets in here as well. And again, for an order, we probably want some fairly simple things. We might want the status, the date, and maybe even the order amount. So now I have my first field set there. Let's go and have a look and see if my custom setting has been installed properly. Here's my Sales Console Sidebar custom setting. So let's go and manage that custom setting, and we want to add a new instance in here. So the first thing we do is we come over here and go create a new custom setting. I'm just going to call this whatever I want. The display order, well this is the first, so we'll put it at 1. The field set name is definitely sidebar, and my custom object is sales order. Now, because this is a custom field, the account we're looking at is now the custom field name. Okay, so what else do we need to do? Well, let's go and have a look at the account. Because one of the things I'd like to do is actually put this on a page layout inside the console. So if we have a look at our page layouts for accounts, you can see there's a number of different page layouts here. Let's have a look at the simple one and just have an edit here. My custom console components is where I create my Visualforce pages here, and you can see I've got primary components, and I want to put it here on the left hand side of the primary component. And again, if I look at my SCS sidebar controller is the field I'm looking at, and I might make that 100 pixels. Of course you can play with this as well and pick the width that's right for you. Save the page layout as well. It's one of the common mistakes I always make, is that I create a custom console component and I forget to save the page layout. I'm just going to come down and have a look at what apps I've got here, and then we'll talk a little bit about how we configure this inside the console app itself. So notice we don't have the Sales Cloud console, but we can do it here in this Service Cloud console as well. So all I need to do here is to come in, I want to have a quick look and just make sure that my account object will open as a primary tab, because we put the layout on the primary tab. So we need that to open on the primary tab as well. So if I come down here and I can say I would like an account to be available in this console, and my account should open as a primary tab. Excellent. So now I've configured my console. And that's it. Now when we go back to our Service Cloud console, we should see a couple of different things here. The first thing we should see is that in our console view here, underneath, I should now see accounts. which is excellent, and I'll get my list view of accounts. Let's go and have a look at our favorite accounts. And there you go, you can see that our order has been created there. So fairly simple to build up this sidebar. Again, remember that this is movable, okay, so we want to keep that, that looking good there. And that is the sidebar console.